11 life paths. Okay, add. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm gonna add you. I just added you. And here we are. Here we go.
Hey,
Finally.
hey.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Like properly. It's like very clear.
it's perfect.
It's perfect. Okay. 11 life paths. This is Gavin. Gavin has his own YouTube channel. Gavin is an expert on fitness and pranayama. And the reason why I have him is because Gavin is a wonderful man. He has an amazing personality, and he's an 11 life paths. Now, 11 life paths, if you know this, you know how much I advocate for pranayama, for breathing exercises. And Gavin over here is an 11 life path, and he knows what he's talking about. So, Gavin, how about you introduce yourself and tell the people who you are and everything?
So, my main thing, man, is like a lot of the things we've been talking about in the past couple of weeks together, and it's just like really resonating a lot with just life in general. Like a lot of people, man, uh, they want their own external experience, but it's like their internal nature not it's not regulated in the way they want it to be. So they're trying to, and then also there's boundaries, but it's like the main thing is they want to increase their goals, increase all the things they're doing in their life to fill it up with their experiences. But then at the same
Correct.
time, something's off, like whether it be their thoughts, their emotions, maybe it's just their physical body
So they're
themselves.
in the carnal mind a lot of emotions, a lot of emotions.
Yeah, and it's like insecurities, but it's like people run into that too. Like when it could be something that's manifested through something they've done or other people have done that creates like a hidden insecurity, and
Yes.
like they may not figure it out until the damage is done, sort of thing, like until they've done the damage or the damage from someone else has been done to them, and then that insecurity is like exposed within them.
Can you give us an example that something, maybe not, it doesn't have to even be with your life, or it could, but
Yeah,
like an example that someone does something, or why do we take these things so seriously when we know that we're not that what other people tell us we are, right? Like that's
yeah.
not who we are. So if you want to go into that.
So yeah, like I mean, a lot of people put like titles, and I know you know this a lot, like very well as well, but like people, they put titles of who we are based on like their past memory and interpretation of what we've given them already. But
Yeah.
everyone has like a vast multiplicity of different things going on in their minds and who they are, how they interact with the world. So like the only constant in people's lives is that it's changing. But everyone wants to, they want to, like, when someone comes in to challenge their belief, and a lot of times this can be in like friend groups, people are like, oh, don't destroy this diplomacy we have, like people don't allow you to tell them how shit they are at something, or what they're doing to themselves maybe, or what they're doing to others. Like if someone is excessively doing something that you can tell is harmful, they will just like look, and they'll be like, don't call me out. I'm gonna call you out about all your stuff now. It's like, well, that's fine. Everyone has stuff, but it's like it's not that we have to be okay with it. It's that like we should take steps to improve and change to overcome it. But everyone is like, oh, you're judging me. You're judging me. Well, it's like, yeah, everyone gets judged. Like what's wrong with? It's like more like observing. Like you're observing someone's behavior,
You're
even your,
observing someone's behavior.
and it's like that gives them fair ground to observe your behavior. And
Yeah.
like if y'all can both, it's like if two people can come together and see it on like a non-biased neutral ground, like what's actually going on, like.
Okay. Okay. I would say that in today's world, a lot of people are oblivious to who they are as people. And by the way, I'm just gonna read what Kat said. Kat, by the way, I read all of your messages that you post. I appreciate you so much. You're one of my best people. Okay. So she said 11 Tribe Hair Salon, birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. Early birthday to you. Love and power to all 11s for sure. I think we 11s are so different that we must learn to be okay with how different we are. Yes, that is correct. We are very different people because we are cut from a different cloth. So you are completely right. 11, the one you unique individuals. We have to get so strong to not care about other reaction. 100%. 100%. Everyone won't do it like us. The advice is good, but everyone won't do it. You're awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Kat, and honestly, you're an awesome person. And I fully agree with you. I just think, to be very honest, Gavin, right now, the world that we live in, a lot of people see. The thing is, I used to think that too. Um, but I will say I want to give you my perspective because we live in a multidimensional world. And this might be very strange to someone, but the string theory that they tell you is a theory is not really a theory. It's actually true. You don't just exist right now. I know this might sound scary, but have you guys ever had dreams where you were in a whole different world and you woke up and you're like, where was I? That was so real because it is real. It is real. So I feel like we are evolving so much right now. And another thing is like, personally, I was thinking exactly what you were thinking today. I'm like, because I had an incident with some girl and she thought I judged her, so she took it the wrong way or whatever. And we rarely talk anymore. But it's like judgment. I get it, but when you transcend judgment, is really, and you can read Robert Edward Grant's work on this. He's very intellectual, and he talks about how when the Earth is spinning, right? This is a very good analogy, by the way. When the Earth is spinning, the person that's looking at it from the top, he sees the Earth spinning counterclockwise. The one that's looking at it from the bottom sees it spinning clockwise. So, in all honesty, like, just don't know what people are going through. But I do see what you are saying too, though. I do see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm trying to formulate the words real quick. Like a lot of people don't realize, and this is one thing I was gonna say because she said it was her birthday. I was gonna say happy death day. You're one step closer. Like a lot of people, they don't take things like not taking it seriously, but people don't show their total involvement in their everyday life to like make this a joyful experience. Like a lot of people, I know you know this, like it's like sometimes you'll be so like lost in what you're doing that you don't take a step back to reflect, but then there's also times when you're reflecting too much, and then it's the balance, like it's like people are either ruminating too much or they're like trying to imagine their future, and it robs them of all their joy and what they're
That
doing
I
like
agree with.
right now.
That I agree with because they're out of the now moment.
Yeah.
Yep, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I've been trying to cultivate personally, like knowing that I'm an 11 and we're 11s, is that like I know that this is all this crazy virtual reality, physical, real, real thing. It's a game we're playing, but it's real. But it's like if you've been back so many different times with all this experience, then it's only right that you collect all this wisdom to play it in a better way, where a lot of people see a lot of unconscious patterns in others, but they may not see it in themselves. And that's something I've been trying to get over, is like trying to see even my own unconscious patterns. Like I know that I'm capable of corrupting through my own arrogance and overconfidence in ways that like I can see from a third person perspective, like all my
You see
issues. But
how he actually sounds like an 11 life path the way he's talking? Like formulating his sentences and the way he's actually provoking his thoughts. That's how you know the dude behind the camera over there is an 11. Yeah, continue. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Appreciate it. You too, man. And it is like a lot of people are always told be confident in yourself, you know, believe in yourself, but no one ever tells anyone doubt yourself. And it's like if you're doubting yourself, you're able to grow in your individuality. And a lot of people don't like this because it's like they think by you growing and changing and adapting to different like ways of life that they haven't experienced yet, they're like, oh, you know, they get scared and fearful. They're like, oh, this person isn't my friend. They may leave, da 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 da, this and that. And it creates like unnecessary fear where, like, I think, you know, this is just my personal view. I think it's okay to judge each other. Like, if, say, you're in a friend group or even your family, like, it's okay to judge each other and, like, but like not in a negative or positive way, like per se. It's more in like a way of,
Can I
hmm,
add to that? I want to add to that. Here's what
yeah,
I want to say to that. I want to say that before I say that, I just want to reply to her. Then you know you are really not dying in a standard way. She's very smart. What I want to say to that is that be the I personally I'm the type of person I tell my friends I'm like if you do see something in me, please do let me know because
yeah.
I'm actually open to criticism,
But
but
that's
do
the
it in
thing.
a way.
You have the spine to take it. Like you have the
Yeah,
spine to take that, whereas
yeah,
other people don't.
yeah.
They
Like
like
if
they
you're my
cover it
boy.
up and they yeah.
No, 100%, 100%. Like if you are my boy and you want to tell me something, do it in a respectful way. Take me to the side, take me to a corner, and tell me in that way. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
feel like there's a respectful way of doing things, and then there's a disrespectful way, right? But what I think about personally, what I know from judgment is because even the ancients have talked about this. Uh, Transcending judgment is one of the ways of ascension because we truly do not know the story of people. That's what I'm saying. And I remember I used to actually think about judgment, but again, what is judgment, right? Because that
Mhm.
could be broken down too.
Well,
Yeah,
observation, I guess you could say, like observation of unconscious patterns that maybe holding you back from, you know, what your true desire is set on, you know, something like, say you're in, maybe like someone sees that you're in a super toxic relationship that maybe you should escape because it's affecting you in a certain way, or maybe like someone has an addiction to a drug that's keeping them from actually interacting in a different way with someone who loves them, or you
yeah,
know what I'm saying. But like I agree, like judgment should not be, it shouldn't be like useless insults and depravity and like, you know, just demeaning. It should like not like that. Like I'm a firm believer, man, that like having solid boundaries and saying no is good. And if someone
100%.
doesn't, yeah, if someone doesn't respect your boundary of just saying no, like it could be not even the big things. People always talk about the big stuff, like, you know, things that are make it or break it in a relationship, but just even the little things, like say, you know, you could be eating food and someone's like, you know, just because maybe they're trying to do something for you, like they expect you to give them something too. It's like
Mm,
it's like no expectations. This is just when people start to expect things instead of it being like natural, and it's contrived instead of like natural, you know, they're like okay with
yeah,
like a transactional kind of way of living together. But it's like in it being transactional, it's becoming an expectation instead of allowing that person to come freely as they are in that moment, if that makes sense.
no, I totally see what you're saying. Kat said, "Yeah, Arsalan, you can take it." They all can't. Again, great advice. We 11s will agree, but everyone won't do it, and we got to be okay with that. I gotta run, but I'll check back. Had to say hi since one of my favorite 11s went live. You are honored. You are an amazing person, amazing 11. Thank you so much for being here and join anytime. Um, continuing on, so how has your life been as an 11 life path? I want to know. Like how have you felt a connection to maybe some of my videos that I put on? Did you resonate with some of the content that I had on YouTube?
100%, man, all the time. I see your stuff pop up when I get out of work all the time, and I'm like, this dude, he understands a lot of shit that people don't. I don't know if they're gonna censor me. I hope not, but like, I don't want them to flag you. But either way, like, you understand a lot of stuff that a lot of people just they don't see as an unconscious pattern, and it's obvious that like these things are happening, like the fluoridated water, like people being controlled by their possessive nature and their carnal mind and their instincts. And it's like, I think that if we're either to like, what am I trying to say, emotional or logical, this can like always interfere with something going on in our lives. And everyone talks about this perfect kind of balance that you need, but what I understand, man, is that everyone talks about balance, right? But no one fully embodies it. It's like, how can anyone talk about balance when no one is fully embodying this? It's like, why can't we just all unconditionally understand and accept people, but at the same time judge them? It's like people get so hurt emotionally by these things,
They do.
except, maybe an 11 life path, because but that's the thing. They think it's
Actually, I'll tell you
condescending.
what. Actually, I'll tell you what. You know what the funny part is?
Yeah.
11 life paths are the most emotional numbers.
Yeah.
I know many 11 life paths. 11 life paths. See, the thing is, if you have learned how to master your emotions, and one of the ways you could master your emotions is to not control, but transmute your solar chakra and your solar plexus, your lower three chakras. If you can transmute them, then you can transcend your emotions to a very high level. But if you can't even do that and you're in the carnal mind all the time, then it gets very hard. It gets very hard, and especially for 11 life paths, because 11 life paths, so the thing with 11 is, if you look at 11, right, the number 11, it looks like a portal. So with 11 life paths, a lot of 11s start really, really becoming psychic after the age of 30. They become, when you're a little younger, 11, you're operating a little more from the 2 frequency. But someone like you is probably not, because you're very mature actually. But most 11 life paths, once they get older, they're in that portal. So when they're going in and out of those portals, what ends up happening is they start to embody a lot of these emotions from the quantum realm too. This is
Yeah.
very, what I'm talking about is deep. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about like this 3D stuff. I'm talking about deep. I'm talking about Jezebel, the
Yeah.
succubus spirit. When you start to retain your seed after 20 to 30 days, maximum 60 days, you'll see the succubus spirit coming into your dream and trying to get you. Why do you think they call it succubus? Because they try to suck your soul. They try to
Yeah.
suck your soul. So what I'm saying is that 11s, if we learn how to control our emotions, and another thing is, dude, um, sometimes the thing is our judgment. But when we do judge, and most people do judge. I'm not saying that most people, but when we do observe or whatever, 99 times we're accurate. We're really accurate with like what people are really thinking about us. That's the
Yeah.
scary part.
Yeah, and that's why it is really like they tend to like completely block 11s out when that happens. Like, I that's 100% right, man. And it's like, I've right dude, right after I had my awakening, it was like I was all about surrender in the moment, surrender from my mind, let go of the cliff that is my mind I'm hanging on so tightly to. So I would have no problems with anyone, no matter who it was, who I was around, what I was doing. But then it just got to a point where I realized, like, my time really is limited on this earth right now. So it only makes sense to just like do what is needed, but not things that like are going to hinder you as well. Because it's like if it hinders you, then you're also denying your natural born gifts. Like as an 11, as a psychic spiritual being living this human life, and because like but at the same time, it's not like you're not showing unconditional acceptance and compassion of people. It's more like you rescind your attention and your time because it's so important to you that you want to use it for the all the right things. Like I I was on this journey where I was saving all this bread, right? Like, saved up like 40K, trying to save up all this money the past 2, 3 years. And it's like I knew that shit wasn't gonna bring me any kind of long-term satisfaction.
Good for a
It's
young
just
guy. Good for a young guy.
yeah, yeah, man. And it's like I know, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
I know I'm so involved in making this because I want to like eventually be able to give it back and help everyone else out who I'm caring about. And like, I want to definitely make like a passion out of a career or something, doing something that resonates with my sole purpose. But
yeah.
like but at the same time, like all this money is not going to make me happy. All these possessions, all these concepts and ideas that people, it's all
Lock
contrived stuff that
themselves-
people talk about all day long.
Yeah, they
You know what
lock
I'm
them.
saying?
They box them into. They box themselves with certain titles, certain agendas, and they affiliate themselves with certain groups, which actually bonds them. I just want to read some of these comments. Hi,
Right.
big up, blessings always. Master number 11's here from the Caribbean islands. Shout out to the Caribbean islands. Thank you for being here, 11 tribe, Alessandra. Thank you. So
Like you
what?
said, the conformity.
Sorry, what?
Like you said, it's conformity. They're conforming to what they choose is what
Yeah,
they settle with. What they choose is what they settle with. And I'm not saying like people don't have an inherent value, but what I'm saying is that when people think of themselves so highly to the point where they expect things from others, that's when it can become diluted, if that makes sense.
that makes sense too. Or sometimes when people expect things from others just because that other person was generous enough to give you that time. Because
Right,
now that I've noticed that, I have people reach out to me every single day. Um, to the people that I reply to, I feel like some of them start expecting me to be a certain way. Those
right,
expectations from anyone, from any person, can cause deterioration to you.
right.
That's
And it's
yeah,
yeah. And like as I'm not even gonna lie about it too, it's like as an 11, uh you can observe manifested disrespect a lot easier than most people. And this is where it kind of gets tricky. Like I know you've been through these things probably more than likely. Like but it's like where like here's the situation. If someone leaves you on red, say, because maybe you've been bringing your time away, from that person and bringing it back to yourself because you realize, you need a healthy balance of your individuality,
100.
and maybe can yeah, or go
Yeah,
ahead.
no,
Yeah,
100%. The thing with 11s is, and I stress on this, 11s have the most traumatic life after 22s.
yeah,
I've done this. I know what I'm talking about. 11s, listen to this again. 33 life paths are actually spiritual teachers, and they've had traumatic lives, but they're very fast to deal with their emotions. They know how to deal with their emotions. With 11 life paths, we've had the hardest lives, and because we've had the hardest lives, some of us, when we grow older, unfortunately, some 11 life paths, what we do is we start to see not the best in other people. But again, your problems, your trauma can make you or break you. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah. And it's like one thing that's a strange kind of paradoxical way of seeing things that I've grown accustomed to in many ways is like I notice that if I look at if I try to see the good in someone always, I tend to undermine all the bad that they come with. But then if I see all the bad, I tend to undermine all the good too. But that's what allows me, I think, as an 11 to embody like
Balance.
yeah, an unconditional understanding of like what other people are going through. But it's like I'm understanding and unconditionally compassionate to be devoted to someone, but at the same time, I fully feel like judging in a non-biased way can show them like they may get emotional like in the moment, but it's like if you're getting emotional about that and it's a hidden insecurity sort of thing. Like and I've been there too. It's like if someone judges me harshly or however it is, even if they just tell you something you don't want to hear, it's like it can destroy your ego. But that's wherein the problem lies, is people are too stuck in their own little cycle of samsara that they can't see what could help them break out of it, if that makes sense. Like
For that, I would say that the person has to be open to
yeah,
mechanical criticism. If that person
yes,
is not open, or I should say, sorry, constructive criticism, if you as a person are not open to constructive criticism, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. But just know that the person that is open to constructive criticism is going to be the person that will get the answers.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
going to be the person that's going to get the answers, and I'm going to be honest with you over here.
yeah. No, that's 100% right. Like all this is a lot of people want to know probably too why we're on the live more than what you were saying. It's like because we embody what each other is talking about. Like I totally agree with all this. Like what you just said too, man. It's like and then it's like also if you've learned some life lessons, right, and you happen to go back into a little cycle of your own, it's
Yeah.
I guarantee them it's not because like we're addicted to the cycle. It's
Yeah.
more because we want to experience that again because well, that's what everyone else seems to be doing.
Yeah.
It's like that like people want to
That's
look
so
at
you
someone.
nailed the point. You fucking nailed the point. Because I
Yeah.
was thinking about that today too. I did something very stupid today, but while I was there, I'm like, oh, it's like everyone does it, but it's like, are you everyone? Because you're not everyone, especially when you're an 11 life path. You're a master number. You're a
Mhm.
master number, and when you're a master number, the thing is, a lot of the responsibilities you are, and I'm gonna be honest, like you're held to a higher account just because
Yeah.
you've done this so many times. And like any master number that you'll speak to is very mature, most of them, unless you're very young or whatever, and you're starting to tap into your cosmic DNA memory bank and you haven't done it yet, you'll probably be a little immature. But a lot of 11s are very mature, and this is why a lot of 11s are held to a higher account.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is that I've noticed that the people who, if they have this kind of wisdom that, we're trying to get across to people, they have that unconditional understanding of others, by default. It's like, but like if you see someone who, they're stuck in the cycle. It's not like me and you where say we can go back to a cycle, but it's not because like we're addicted to it or anything like that. It's because they're doing it, so we should be doing it, I guess, too, because like they don't want to change at the moment they're at the level they're at. And it's like there's infinite levels of change and growth, and people think that like, oh, if you're not on my level, then we can't be cool or this and that. But it's like people are not always going to be on the same level. Like that's why I know you say like judgment, transcending judgment. Not everyone's on the same level, but it's like why shouldn't two people try to progress anyways? Like as friends or as brothers or
As friends
anything.
and brothers, I would say yes.
Yeah,
I would say yes. They should progress if they're both open to the criticism. But my
yeah,
example my example would be, now, for example, I'll give you a very good example. If you see a girl and she's doing OnlyFans, now this is a real life example that I saw
Mhm.
actually. So there were a bunch of guys that were shaming her to do OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Okay. But later in that podcast, little did they know that the girl's dad was actually going through cancer. I think he was at the last stage.
dang.
So she was actually collecting money to pay off her dad's cancer bill, or he would have passed away.
See, that's yeah.
You see
Like
what
people,
I
yeah,
mean?
people don't know what you're going through. Yeah,
No one. That's what I'm saying. Like, even nowadays, like, there are people that are on heavy drugs, right? Or
yeah,
they're on some very big drugs, but little do we know, even like that person might have had a past life that was so harsh, and it's in their genetic DNA, and they're going through some difficult challenges, and we can't see that because we've
yeah,
ascended and evolved into another being. But I would say, if you do have a friend or a person that you really know and they have openly asked you to give them criticism, then I think it's okay. I think it's fine as long as they're fine with it.
yeah. So like, I want to say this real quick. Like people, so two things. Everyone has that hidden karma. You and I know this. Everyone has that hidden karma.
Yeah,
And then the second thing, a lot of people were never told to walk through life unscathed, no matter what happens. Like, and that's why people get stuck on the banks of the river instead of flowing down it. And even I'm guilty of this. Even after having a spiritual awakening, I am guilty of this. But that doesn't mean the wisdom isn't true. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't mean the wisdom doesn't make sense. And it's like the more I surrender my thoughts and emotions, I let it go. Like I just, it's like the only way, man. It's like, it's like I can, like, we can smoke, drink, do whatever. Like even breath work helps that, like in the same kind of ways that the drugs do, just without side effects. But like the biggest thing that's helped me as an 11 life path and just as a man in this society is like surrender, like just letting go. But at the same time, my karma's there, my karma's there where I have always, like I've always been more attached to like relationships than most people would be, because I've always leaned towards that side of seeing the greater good in everyone else. And also, like, not as much these days, but like that's a karma for that I've had to transcend. And then like also, like other people have karmas, where like maybe it's like they've had, maybe possibly in a past life or whatever it is, a drinking habit, where like they can't stop drinking, or a porn addiction, like all that stuff. And it's like there's just stuff, is not your karma, because you're not leaning towards it in that moment. For me, like I don't watch porn. I don't like I barely masturbate, dude, because like I don't think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? But like the karma we do think about, that's the stuff to actually transcend.
100%.
Like, yeah,
100%.
like our work.
See,
Yeah.
I've talked about this in one of my videos. Think, act, and feel is what's going to curate so much of your life, because when you think it, then you act it. Once you act it, you feel the emotions and you act on it. And believe it or not, I had a psychedelic trip last night or the night before. And this psychedelic trip that I had, I literally felt the emotion. So your emotion is actually stuck in your body. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you do a psychedelic, I had like a specific emotion that I felt towards a guy. Not like no homo or anything. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
straight,
yeah, yeah.
but just like a feeling that I had towards another guy. And I like that emotion was literally like I felt that, like I felt like it was a rope. I
Yeah,
felt it was a rope, and that rope got like untangled. And
yeah,
and your emotions, a lot of people don't get it, but you could embody someone else's emotions. This is why, even as 11 life paths, it's so important, and I can't stress this, to be, and I talk about this with my semen retention guys, hang around with pure, I'm not saying anyone, no one's 100% pure,
Yeah.
but hang around with men that are helping you elevate. Because I can tell you what, from my own experience, I remember one time, I went to a friend's, not even a friend, acquaintance. I went to his home, and this dude opened the laptop, and we started. It was just, there was just porn. There was just porn, and as soon as I saw that, it fucked with my psyche.
Yeah.
It fucked with my psyche, and this is why, yeah, and,
Like we're I I it's not even a form of arrogance or overconfidence to say that we have this neural pathway that's it's different because of how what we've learned through our life, through our experience. It's like you and me could talk for hours and go on about this stuff all day because it's like we're in that mode where we like the deeper aspects of life. You know, like we can be surface level, we can get back into our little cycles of whatever it
yeah,
is we're doing. You know, like at the end of every month, I'll hit some THC, whatever. But like that, it's not like that's what we're focused on. Like you
yep,
understand that. Like a lot of 11s understand that. I'm sure. Like you're not focused on this one thing like you're obsessed with it. You're able to flow freely with whatever is going on, no matter what's going on. Like, unless it's like a huge life change where you're moving away or, you know, like someone died or something like those are all just spiritual karmic events, but it's like flowing with everyday norms and then things that are unexpected. Like a lot of people also think that like excitement and dopamine is true happiness, but excitement is not peace because your nervous system is like it is excitement, but
so
like
I want to ask you a very important question.
yeah.
So you are now 24 years old, right?
Hmm.
So I know that every single 11 that I've met in my life has huge goals. And a lot of, I know some 11 life paths that want to be on YouTube, but they say that something is holding them back.
Yeah.
And paraphrasing, some of them have said that maybe it's the thought of others, like the fear of what other people will think. I want to ask you this question.
Hmm.
What made you put yourself on YouTube as a younger 11 life path? And how can someone that's facing those emotions, like how could someone face those emotions?
Yeah, this I wish we had more 11s in the comment section to throw questions out, but you already have some, so that's good. Like I'm gonna think of some as well, but to answer that question, I think it's a multiplicity of a few things. I think one, it's being comfortable in your own individuality, even though you know you're gonna get judged for it. Like, and it could be, and that's why I was saying before, like no negative or positive judgment, just observational things. Like, but because I will never cut some kind of contact with someone who's done me wrong unless it's something along the lines of, you know, murder, rape, stuff like that, like the five precepts of Buddhism and all this stuff. But being able to judge someone without positive or negative feelings. But if you know that you're going to be a content creator, you know that there's the possibility of getting both negative and positive judgment. And very rarely do people get non biased judgment, which is like a blessing in a sea of opinions, dude. Like, but like, I tried not to be afraid of that, but I will say there's like it wasn't all roses. Like it really wasn't. Like I started at like 13, 14, and then I deleted all my stuff at like 14, 15, 16, and then I got back to it like 17, 18 because over time I realized, hey, people are gravitating towards what I'm doing. There are people out there who care
because
about the things.
you're an 11 life path.
Yeah, and it's
E-
like,
Even you just talk, even us just talking right now, and I'm not
yeah,
saying not to be cocky, it's not to be arrogant, but it's just being honest. As an 11 life path, you are very charismatic. You
appreciate you,
have
man.
that. You're a very charismatic individual, but do continue.
Thank you. You too, man. Like 100%. Um, and I
Appreciate.
mean, yeah, it's like people are so quick to conform, bro, that they're so afraid to show their individuality. It's like it, and it's like everyone, everyone has their little cycles, but it's like at the same time, like people want our presence, and I saw that like my presence was impacting people's lives,
Yep.
and but at the same time I've had all my problems in real life when I have that understanding of myself, but then there's still people who won't accept me, and it's just how it is, man. It's like that war you were talking about. But like as far as content creating, I more so these days I want to be just my most authentic self, dude, and
I
that's
was
like why.
that. I was
Yeah,
just gonna say that, and you said it. I'm like, you being authentic is what's gonna bring you your tribe. It's gonna bring you your people. You
yeah,
being authentic, you won't even be able to sleep at night properly because you knew that I wasn't authentic 100%. This is
right,
even why when I talk to 11s, I'm like, you know what's the highest vibration? Higher than love. This is scientifically proven. You can go look at it. It's
yes,
authenticity. Why? Because when you're authentic, you will attract the right people. If you are, look, 11 life paths, clubbing is not for us.
yeah,
Clubbing is the last time you're like, dude, I want to go clubbing.
right,
What? You don't, you're like, no, that's not for you. It's not your thing, right? But
yeah,
if you try to fit in with the rest of society and you're like, no, 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 I want to go clubbing, I want to go do this, I want to go fit in, beware, because that's
yeah.
gonna backfire on you.
Yeah, and it's like I'll find myself, just like I'll go to like a group hangout or something, and it's like no one wants to explore two things. I've noticed most people, they don't want to explore two things.
Yeah.
A, their child side, like their innocent child nature,
Child
man.
fight.
Right, like your divine inner child nature where you're having fun, like you don't have to be doing anything particularly like considered as exciting by society, like clubbing or going out drinking or like stuff like that. Like you can sit there and you can, watch shows at home that like you can think of ideas, like get creative with art, Legos, music, whatever, and just hang out in someone's presence. But like people are so ADHD that they're always looking to like they can't be engaged without being active.
100%, bro. It's like
Dude,
they got that golden fit. They got like a fish span, like attention span.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then like and then it's like they also don't want to explore the second thing, which is anything outside of the comfort zone. It's like, like if it's like I can sit there, and we can like dude, like I know you and I, we could sit there, we could smoke weed, cigars, drink, whatever. But like those will be side activities you catch us doing together sometimes, not all the time. Like because we're not focused on that one thing to hang out with. Like it's like not the thing we're focused on for our hangouts. It would be like the things we
We
actually are interested.
out those things. If
Yeah,
you The thing is, I remember someone told me they're like, I had a group of friends and we would hang out, and every time we would hang out, we would smoke weed.
yeah,
But the moment that one guy stopped smoking weed, the whole group they split apart.
dang.
So they were all contingent on a substance to connect.
Right. And that's
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
always detrimental because it's like
Yeah.
do you really even know these people outside of what they're doing, And it's like, I hate to say this, man, because I will get such flack for saying this, but it's right. I don't care. I know it's right. Like, money is not the root of all evil. And if people, I'm not going to say
The
politicians
love,
or,
and the
huh?
love of money, and the
Yeah,
love of
like,
money.
yes, like the
It's not
greed of money,
love,
the greed of money. Like
the
like I
greed
would
of
have
money.
friends, yeah, and I would have friends who were always like, getting upset because maybe I'd show up a little bit late to hanging out or whatever, like, but I would always communicate. But it's like they know I'm making all this bread because I posted it at one point, not pictures of it, but like saying stuff like, oh, I'm doing this. There's no excuses, because at the end of the day, you're gonna help other
You
people out,
feel
like by
you feel
making
like
more
a rapper
money.
at 50K on you, bro.
Yeah, dude, like that. Yeah, it's like
Like,
they.
bro,
Wait, say it again.
then you feel like a rapper when you have 50K on you.
Oh, dude, I don't even feel like that yet. You're gassing me up. But I would want to give it back, man. Like, that. Like to help
I'm
other
playing,
friends and
bro.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's people, but people are, they don't have it in them. They don't have the internal engineering. They haven't done it yet to figure that part out. So like they're in this little cycle of their own suffering, right? Like they're suffering their problems on like a grand scale, where they think that their problem is the worst thing in the world, but they can't have enough perception to look outside of themselves and see, how can I make this better for like the future? Because it's like, but my problem is, I will say this, I would never tell people my plans, because that's my inner stoic, and that's a problem of mine I'm trying to get over, is
Yep.
I need to tell people my plans more. Like, because if I don't
I,
do
I,
that.
I, that just depends on the person. Like, see, with 11 life paths, I'm gonna be very honest, and I've spoken about this. A lot of people become very envious of us very fast. Unfortunately, it happens. It does happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you, and the good part is that you are a detector. You, as an 11 life path, you have that skill to know who is very envious of you and who actually wants you to succeed.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, personally, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even tell people my real secrets. I don't tell people my real goals.
Yeah.
The reason that is, a lot of times it just creates that it
Resistance. They it should they You reflect their insecurities. You reflect their
yes,
insecurities.
100%. I think a rapper said something. I think Drake said it in one of his songs. He's like, "I'm a reflection of all your insecurities and do not disturb." I think he said that. If, like, cuz you and we take action, we do our thing, a lot of people are quick to become envious. So if that type of agregorical vibration is there, that does tend to cause a little bit of hindrance. It does.
Yeah.
So for me, I personally, I don't think there's anything wrong if you don't want to tell people your plans. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can even be a parent, because someone might have a parent that's like, "Oh, you're good doing a 9 to 5. You're good being a trucker. You're good being a carpenter. You're good doing that." Right? But you might have a goal of becoming a superstar. You might
Right.
have a goal of becoming the next, whatever.
Right.
Um,
And
so you can't even, in some cases, unfortunately, you can't even tell your parents. I'm being
yeah.
honest.
Yeah. And I will say, a lot of people, it's just proof that they wouldn't want you to exceed if they're, if they're not, like, I would always post, you know, before I deleted my old Instagram, because at one point I just needed a dopamine cleanse. Like, I realized it's getting too attached to it. So I needed to just cleanse that thing. I even see it coming back now. I'm just going to stop myself entirely from being on social media. Like, more recently, I'm just going to do that again to detox a little bit more again.
You
But
know, on this topic that we're speaking about, Muhammad Ali said, and I'm going to paraphrase what he
yeah.
said. He was at a fight interview, and someone asked them. He was saying, he's like, "A lot of people want me to think small, but that's not how I think. I think big." And what I got from that, and I paraphrase what he said, what I got from that is, a lot of times people tend to reflect their own insecurities onto you.
Yeah.
That's what happens. that sometimes it's not even that they hate you, or it's not like they don't like you. It's not even that.
Yeah.
But when you tell them your dreams, in their view, they think that those dreams are impossible to accomplish.
Yeah, because dude, they don't have right. They don't have the inner engineering for it. So, but like that's the thing. If they see someone of our caliber doing this sort of thing, why not why not listen to what we're saying? It's that ego barrier. It's that identification with whatever level of conditioning they currently can't escape from. It's like
Someone said
conditioning.
100%, and that's the conditioning that has to be unconditioned because it will break people. Gavin, someone said they can't stop smoking.
All
Yo, I've been addicted to weed. Someone said
right,
that,
we got to give them some
and
advice.
uh, if they want advice, I don't know. But someone's like 11 are star seed here on Earth, 100%. Look, I've been doing numbers for quite a while now. It's almost been a year where I've been speaking to 11 life paths, and I'm telling you, you cannot. And I've even spoken about the karma video. You can go watch my karmic video after this if you want. With 11 life paths, we get our karma very fast when we do people wrong. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Mhm. Yep.
But someone does you wrong, 11s, and look, we're talking about this, and 8 people are in this life. 8 is the number of karma. Always remember this. And right now it's 7:10 in Toronto right now. 7 and 10 is 8. These numbers are always talking to me. They're confirming with me. 8 is a number of karma. If you want to know that you messed up, or if you want to know someone's getting their karma, you'll keep on seeing 8s. When someone does you dirty, pray for them if you want to, because they don't know what's about to happen to them. And I'm just being honest. I'm not here to be vengeful. I'm not here to say anything bad or anything. But with when people do come to us, and as I told you, dude, when I was in high school, I still remember 2 guys. The guy, he did something to me, and I think he went into jail for 5 years, or 5 or 6 years, and he got caught in a criminal case where he actually ended someone's life. And another dude that did me wrong, bro, he passed away in a way that I don't even want to tell you right now.
Yeah.
It was all
And
news.
and
So I'm not I'm not saying anything like that, but what I'm saying, when you are an 11 life path, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, and it's like when they get their karma in ways that have nothing to do with our interest in revenge or justice or whatever, if it ever got to that point, it will just naturally happen to them. And I know that's what you're saying. It will just occur to them that they messed up.
Yeah.
Like, and this can be financially, karma, because we are unfortunately living.
Yeah. You're, Gavin, I think your voice, guys, comment in the video if his voice or his video is cutting right now. Please, please. Your voice and your video is cutting. I'm gonna read the comments in the meanwhile. And I've been addicted to weed. And social media, I feel good right now. I took a little break from weed. Good. Being able to see through everyone's responsive masks can feel even hurtful at times. Yes. I've done some harmful stuff, just not fully being myself and authentic and trying to fit in or act like other people to feel included. This is why I tell all of my 11s, be true to yourself, be authentic. What's up, bro? Why are you smoking? Okay, yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Esoteric knowledge. 8 and 11 are archangel Met- Metatron numbers. Okay, is he frozen, bro? Are you still frozen? You're still kind of frozen. You're still kind of frozen. Every number is
Okay. What about now?
you're a little frozen, but it's okay. Maybe once I'm done reading these comments, the comments are coming in. Comments are coming in. Esoteric. He is frozen. Yeah, he is. You are frozen. Every number is important. Every number. I never. Okay. Every number is important, and I've never said that no number is not important. But it's the understanding of what each number means, because each number means a different thing. Okay. Yeah, it's cutting like diarrhea. It's cutting like
All
I.
right, what about now?
Now you're good. Now you're good. Yeah, he's frozen.
Okay,
Okay.
it was all those comments that messed me up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Connection's a little bit better. But
It's a little. Yeah.
so he said 8 and 11 are archangel Metatron numbers. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about Metatron's cube. You know, it's a lot like, you know, the tree of life, and how we have our lower chakras that, like, you know, everything has its purpose and its use, but it's when people reach that higher chakra, their 6th and 7th and up, that's
Yeah.
when, like, you're totally stunned. You're like, "Oh, so I need to detach emotionally and mind wise from everything I fear to lose." And it's like, it's because you have to get rid of that fear, not because you have to lose these things. But people don't understand that. It's like you
Your
have
odd.
to,
Your odd.
yeah,
The
detaching from.
the pineal. So your pineal. Once your pineal gland opens, will never right now. You will never look at life the same how you used to look at it. That I will tell you.
And not getting sunlight and all these things, not exercising, this all calcifies your pineal. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And then you start getting
Get
issues with sleep.
sunlight.
Yeah,
Even if you're white. Even look,
yeah,
Gavin is white, but he still gets sunlight. Gavin, I
right.
want you to tell all the white folks. I want you to tell them the importance of, because there are some white people. They're like, oh, I can't get. But I'm like, getting sunlight is a karmic thing. If you are stuffing your body with bread, with soda pop, with all these things, and you go under the sun, obviously it's going to burn you, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And it's not just your pineal getting calcified. People are ruining their liver, their kidneys, everything, man. Your brain. People don't know. Literally, you were saying this in a video. You were saying this in a video. How your
Yeah.
gut and your brain health is interlinked. You can't. If your gut
Yeah.
health is bad, your brain health is
And
automatically just as bad.
gut is your second brain. Your
Yeah.
gut. This is why when you're fasting, you'll get more vivid dreams and you'll get more vivid visions, and you'll become more psychic. You'll become
Right.
more psychic. Why? Because we're not used to eating 4 or 5 times a day. This is a modern concept. Even breakfast was a modern concept. Cornflakes, when cornflakes came in, they got a guy, Edward Bernay. Edward Bernay, he has a whole documentary on how they manipulated Americans to eat cornflakes in the morning because they needed more sales. And they called it breakfast.
Yeah. All this high fructose corn syrup and
Yep.
acesulfame potassium and whatever. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, people, but they don't know because they're so conditioned, dude. Your parents were giving them, you know, our parents were giving us like gummy worms and candy like crazy. Like, we had one little Halloween that did it all for us. We had
Dunkaroos!
one Halloween.
Yeah, buddy.
Right.
Roll ups,
Like you
roll ups, Dunkaroos, fuck,
yeah.
Lay's, Doritos,
Yeah.
fuck all this shit. Oh, Halloween. You'd have a fucking sore tooth after Halloween. Why?
Right, dude. And like, I just don't understand how someone can continue living that way. Like, only eating Cheetos and stuff and drinking Coke like all day. It's like when I was doing that in like ninth grade, that messed me up so bad. I felt like a walking corpse, dude. I would never sleep. It was so bad. But
I haven't
someone commented, go ahead.
had pop for years now. I haven't had pop for years. I haven't ate from. I wouldn't even eat from McDonald's if it was free. I wouldn't
Right,
even eat McDonald's if you gave me a free Big Mac cheese or like a filet fish burger with like those corny fries that fucking rot after 25 years. I wouldn't
right,
want that.
right. Like it's so
As a life path, your video is breaking a bit again. Video, it's a it's a breaking a bit. It's okay. I'll read some of these comments. Feds watching the vid, them freeze. Oh, they better not be watching this. A mind once expanded cannot go back to its old dimensions. Actually, I would disagree. A mind expand and it could go back to its old dimensions if you fall into the carnal mind. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Do any Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Do any of the That's what we're all about. Soul and light language you have to frequency. Go ahead, Devin. You were replying to the six
Okay, can you hear me?
videos a little like it's a little kind of stuck, I think. But go ahead.
Okay. So I thought that was hilarious. I'm gonna just say that when you were like, Fed's watching the vid, and then it freezes, and you're like, better not be. That was funny. But oh yeah, like
Yeah.
soul or light language. I'm not familiar with that. I mean, if you mean like, I mean, my
Well,
soul.
which it basically go ahead, go
No, no, no,
ahead.
it's fine. You tell me. You're gonna get me hip.
Soul language is basically light language is you being psychic. You just being psychic. That's what it is. That languages, yeah. Okay, Gavin, your video is cutting off again. Like your sound is really cutting
Okay.
off.
All right. Hold up.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's okay. Is your frequency it's your frequency you vibrate on at soul level. It's your frequency you vibrate on the soul level. Yep, 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 yep. Again, to be on that type of frequency, I would say you have to really transmute the carnal mind because the carnal mind is the mind that is fleshly. So even when Jesus got crucified, there are a lot of spiritual gurus that actually speak about the crucifixion of Jesus was actually allegorical. And what that crucifixion actually indicates is that you don't become of the flesh. You are on earth, but you are not of this place. You know what I mean? So that's how you activate the light codes. So are y'all obnoxious in public spaces a lot? Like y'all pick up on everything or feel everything? You answer that one.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So I, mm, no, not at all. Never. I'm never anxious or like anything like that. I will be anxious or like pick up on everything or I'll feel everything when I'm in the company of those who are not accepting of me. And I can
Yeah.
feel it. It may not even be with words. It may just be with feelings. Like it can
Yeah.
just straight be feeling. Like you can feel it in the room. But
Oh yeah.
I yeah, man, like every time before a big life event happens, I will have a real premonition of how of something that's going to happen. But it's like
Have
a
you been
dream.
dreams recently? Have you had any dreams recently?
Not well, actually, I did have one recently where it was like I was flying in the dream
Okay.
and then like I saw this kid, he had all sorts of like I want to say it was like African spiritual symbols and like Hinduist symbols.
No way! I always knew you were black.
Oh my
Always
gosh.
knew you were black. Yeah,
But like
I've had those.
I
Ankh. Have you seen the Ankh?
that might have been one of them on him, but when I was flying in this dream, man, like I was flying and
Yeah.
I was doing some kind of like skate flying, like not normal flying. I've had dreams where I fly normally too, but this dream was more like I was skate flying, and like I wound up in this one kid's presence. You know, he looked African, he had all these symbols on him, and he looked like he needed my help, like really bad. Like he was crying.
Dude, fuck! I've had a similar dream like that. I had a dream, dude. I think I was a slave in one of my lives, bro. I saw like a
Wow.
little African kid, and he was kind of like on like one of those old vehicles. So
Yeah.
11 cats. If you've had dreams like this, you're really tapping into your frequency. So I've had a dream where I was like, there was this like old car, like back in probably the 1800s. I think I was somewhere in Africa and there was like a car that was moving and I was like hanging on to the car and I was like a little black kid, I think. And this is why I'm like, even some people are like, you act like a black man for some reason. I'm like, I think it's because there's like cosmic DNA in me that's being activated. That's what it
Yeah.
is. But yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. That's so interesting what you're saying.
That was interesting as well because like I've also had crazy dreams and
Yep.
I'm gonna respond to this person's comment right after I say this. I'm gonna get you, Alicia. I've had dreams where like my three or my brother and two of his friends, you know, they're his best friends, they made a really popular YouTube channel and it was getting really crazy hype and lots of views and subs, like over two or three
No
hundred K.
way. No fucking way.
But
Because,
but
okay,
that
after on to Alicia, I've got to tell you something about YouTube. Okay, go ahead.
and but I didn't have a premonition that he was
Yeah.
gonna have all this fame and influence and all this. I had a premonition that I was driving a car and they were hanging on to my car and I ran it into like a wall and it
Oh,
messed
God.
everything up. It was a bad dream, but the thing is that like a lot of like I would always come to them to help them out and things. So I'm thinking it was some kind of, you know, karmic like sign like saying, "Hey, this is going to happen or this is not going to happen." Like it could go either way sort of thing, but I interpreted it as, you know, like, "Oh, I may be a problem in what they're doing or something." So like I receded my attention a little bit from you know like helping them out as much, and then what happened is like it all just broke up like for them.
Okay.
So
Let
what
me
this
tell
told me, yeah,
let me tell you before you
yeah,
continue. I had a dream about a guy that I knew that's going to blow up on YouTube. I didn't even know this guy had a YouTube, and when I talked to him, he had a YouTube, and I think he had around 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube. And
what, that's
yes,
wow,
I didn't
that's
even know he
wild.
had. Yeah, because I was very popular on this app called Clubhouse a couple of years ago, and he added me back, and we talked. And I had a dream that he has a YouTube channel on cars, and this guy was like popular already. And I had a dream about him, like, you're gonna be very popular if you start YouTube, I think. And he's like, I already have a YouTube, and quite successful on there. Crazy, right?
Dude,
And
that if that doesn't show that we're given these karmic opportunities to decide for ourselves, I don't know what does.
reply to her message if you need to.
Yeah, so she said, well, this 11 has another message to connect to your inner child and heal on a soul level. Yes, because it's society and the carnal mind that creates these neural pathways that takes away our inner understanding of life. Like, we're born with this serenity, except it's ignorance. It's ignorant serenity because we don't know about life yet. But if you know about life as an adult, and you come back and decide to stay as your inner child, even though you know all this stuff, then you'll essentially be brought back to base level where you can experience things on your most authentic level. Like instead of just a level of, oh, I'm following the crowd, I'm doing what everyone else is doing, unless you have these like everyone has these desires once they get past like their teenage years. They have all these karmic desires, but some people don't attend to it right after teenage years, or they attend to it during teenage years, or they don't do it until 30, 40, 50, 60 years later when it's too late. Like they don't figure out their karma fully until they're already too deep in the sauce sort of thing, and like they'll never solve it fully if they're too long gone. Like they just listen to expert opinions, they go to the doctor diagnoses them like, oh, take this, this drug will help you, you're on like 10 different drugs by the time you know it. And then like whatever it is, like any kind of karma, you could have like a sex addiction, like everyone's been in this sort of position where they have some kind of obsessive compulsive desire for something, but to just surrender all that even for a couple moments doesn't mean you have to surrender it all completely. It's just like enough to realize that this isn't you and you have the ability to change without needing these things, like, and being your full authentic self, like that's just my feeling about it.
She said, you guys are both funny, past life memories plus psychic, and Claire are active. That's why you can uh, remember does stuff. Yeah, we do remember that. Yeah. Um,
uh
it
I
has.
think,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
I think clairvoyance, yes, like we're clairvoyant on a level of true understanding of the self. Like we're me and him, guys, we're not the type to stay in a position of comfort. That guy was telling you like, oh, don't why you smoking though, but it's like, bruh, he knows he can stop it because he has the ability to do semen
I
retention for
have
like,
stopped. I have.
yeah, but
I
that's
have
but
stopped for like a long time, and I've done semen retention for 11 months.
yeah.
But to me, a lot of it, has to do with, man. Like, look, like, what could be detrimental to one person is not necessarily detrimental to another person.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna be very honest with you
but
on that.
what I'm trying to say is
Like,
like,
I'm gonna be very honest.
yeah,
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say is that like
for
you have the ability, man, to do semen retention for like 2, 3, 4 months, a year. Like they think that just because you're doing something for a split like moment, doesn't mean you don't have the discipline to stop it and stop that for like months,
yeah,
years on end. Like that's people think that you're contradicting yourself, but you're not, because contradicting yourself would be to be out of balance. But if your true self is willing you to do something, then you're in balance. Like it's just not doing it too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, she said, focus on balancing the divine masculine and divine feminine energies within each chakra, especially the heart chakra. What do you have to say to that?
I would say that's very accurate. And she's speaking from a place, man, of higher experience. She's probably the one who's had a heartbreak or she's probably been the one who's been through any kind of heartbreak, whether it be through, a loved one or a friend or a boyfriend or whatever. It could have been any kind of heartbreak, but like learning that, like burning bridges and things like that. Yeah, see, like any kind of bridge that's burned will teach anyone to open their heart, man. Like, especially their heart chakra energy, because if you can't unlock that, you can't reach the higher states that will help you just manifest the life that's worth living for yourself. Like, people say, don't try to manifest, nothing exists, it's not real, you're playing a 3D game, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if you have the choice to come to this earth and play the game, then that's a choice. Like, that's ultimately a choice. And it's like, why not play it skillfully? But a lot of people, this, I know this, come here to play unskillfully because it's their game. Like, everyone's been thrown into their game, so to speak, in their cycle. And some people won't get it maybe their whole life, maybe they'll get it in 30, 40 years. Like, she said she had two near death experiences and a pretty tough life. See, that's what'll do it too. You have a near death experience and then you realize how transient things are, but other people don't, so they hold on to this uh resentment and baggage. They hold on to it. Yeah, they hold on tight and grip it for dear life because they don't know that there is no death. It's all transient. It's one form of life moving to another. And it's like, even if you're a part of the air, the sea, or whatever, everything's consciousness. Like, nothing, people think that consciousness is born out of evolution. No, consciousness is the base for evolution. Like, we are
Correct.
more closely related to mushrooms than anything else on the planet. Human beings have higher DNA, you know what I'm trying to say. We're more related to mushrooms than anything else.
We're more fungus than we are any other DNA. That's correct. We're more mycelium. Yeah. So I I wanna add on to the heart chakra. So if you think about the distance from the mind to the heart, it's very less. It's like right here, right? But the symbolic or the life journey to attaching the mind and the heart to work in coherence could actually take a whole lifetime. It could these two places to actually in vibration in your mind. That's how strong the heart is. But opening the heart, like, I mean, saying it is easy, but coming with humility, coming with with abstaining from backbiting. If you look at the modern culture, the vast majority of people, all they do is backbite. If you are backbiting about someone behind their back, you're adding karmic baggage to your
Yeah, they don't know that.
karmic baggage to, and this is not just religion. This isn't all over spirituality. And a lot of another thing I've noticed is that a lot of people are so interested in other people's lives.
Yeah,
So interested. Like, oh, what did this celebrity? No, 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 no. Focus on you,
yeah, it's
on who you are. The more you get into the gossip and all this, and you're cleansing the heart, you're purifying the heart, and going back to your innocence. Why do most a lot of people, when you talk to them, you're like, how's your childhood? Like, we loved our childhood. Our childhood was playful, it was fun, it was nice. Why? Because once you grow older in puberty, you eat from the fruit. You eat from that sexual fruit.
right,
This is why when you're so engaged in sex,
right.
you start to get into depression because you're in that carnal lower mind. This is why I stress about trying to be as celibate as possible because life is cyclical. I'm not saying to fully be celibate, but do it as much as you possibly can.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, that's 100% spot accurate. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. No, that's 100% accurate because when we grow, not just as like a lot of people say, there's a lot of cultural stuff that says this where it's like, oh, a woman can't be enlightened, blah blah blah. But it's not because of the mind. It's because they're so linked to giving birth and having babies that it's more of a biological thing where men have it a lot easier. There we just do have it a lot easier on an energy level to manifest from that stored dormant energy. We have the semen retention, like we can take from that sexual well to raise it to our higher point of awareness, whereas women, like, they have it a lot harder because they have to follow the cycles of the moon. And so they
Yeah.
yeah, they have to bleed
Yeah.
it out or they have to give it to the man. It's just how nature is. It's like it's not, like, there's the equality movement and I'm all for it. Like, I'm all for it. It's But in the world of spirituality, it's not as easy for a woman to figure this out. But that doesn't mean that there aren't enlightened women and things like that, and the 11s and 22s and 33s who are women. There's just a lot more men because if they, even by accident, they stored their semen, even by accident, they can awaken that dormant energy and not have the wisdom or the knowledge to use it in a formidable way that helps everyone else, you know? Like, anytime someone comes up to me in public or anyone I don't know, whoever it is, whatever, if they have like a really good question for me, or like it could be out of the blue and they don't even know me, I will literally go out of my way and do everything I can to help them in that regard. It's just the mundanity, the mundane experience of life that I don't bother with personally because we're at such a level of consciousness that we know where we're going. We know what we want to do, which is to ultimately help those and keep helping ourselves, be able to help everyone who not just consciously is at our level, but also people who are trying to understand what we're talking about, and
Yeah.
they have
Have
that
curiosity. Gotta
yeah.
have curiosity.
Right, because too many people are like believers of the whole religious, stuff of like all the propaganda, and they don't do enough deep like diving into their internal biology to figure it out for themselves. Like they need to, like, people who want to seek, we're there for the seekers and the people who want to know the truth, and not people who are just blindly following precepts without understanding them through personal experience. It's like this is the hardest thing to talk to people about because they think like, oh, you listen to others and you'll immediately get it, you'll never have problems for the rest of your life. But it's like, no, that's not how it works. Everyone has karma. Everyone has the action they are destined to perform in this life. And once they perform it, they either extinguish it fully or they fall back into the lower carnal mind, like you were saying. Or there's people who are like who know it and choose to like jump between the two. That's how I was for a while there. I was jumping between the two. I was like, nope, I'm up here. Nope, I'm back down here. Nope, I'm up here. I'm down here. Like, I thought that was balance, but now I'm realizing that the true balance is just leaving everything untouched. Like, trying not to create worse karma for myself or others on any kind of level. And it's difficult, man, because people want to give 11s in particular the worst karma back because
Oh
they
yeah.
fear,
Um,
they
I
envy and they fear.
Because you brought up earlier on about the mushrooms.
Yeah.
So I know that you have done mushrooms. I want you. So there are some people that are very skeptical about mushrooms. They think that mushrooms are not so good. What do you have to say from your experience about psychedelics?
So I would say if you are at a good spot in your life where you feel safe and comfortable and content enough to learn these things, like, but that doesn't mean don't stay, like, out of, like, how am I trying to word this? I would say get yourself to a level of health and comfortability to be able to undergo that experience. There's people who, they reach higher levels of wisdom and consciousness through devotion to another person, devotion to a higher aspect of themselves, of nature, of anything. But like, if there's no level of seeking or devotion, I'd say there's no reason to do psychedelics because, like,
Yeah.
naturally, it'll well up in them, if they're gonna do it. But I've made the mistake where, like I told you in a past thing we were talking on, like, I've tended to impose my will on what I think is right at the wrong time to people, and that's really because we know this stuff is right, but if they're not gonna understand it at that moment in time, it's useless to cast your
So,
pearls,
I want to add my take on psychedelics right now because I think this is very important.
Yeah,
Mushrooms will mirror, they will reflect who you are as a person.
yeah,
So if you are the type of individual, and I warn people before they do mushrooms, I warn you guys, if someone is a person that is arrogant, that is heavily engaged in their carnal mind, that is heavily engaged in trivial conversations,
mhm,
that is just out of character, out of authenticity, and that person does mushrooms, they could potentially go through a state of hell.
yeah,
That person can potentially go through a state of hell and become terrified and
yep,
become, and the vast majority of these people that will go through this state will be like, oh, it was the mushrooms. No, 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 no. It was not the mushrooms. Your mushrooms were bringing your subconscious mind right here to your conscious, and that terrified those people. It
that
terrified. This is why what I'll say is, if you're gonna do mushrooms, and I'm not giving you any recommendations. My channel is not to do. Know who you are.
right.
Know who you are, because honestly, if you are not aware of other dimensions, other beings, and you think that it's just you in a 3D world, you're in for a surprise.
Thank you. That was very realistic in facts, what you just said. Like, people think too much that everyone else is an NPC, and it's like, no, everyone has a different level of consciousness, yes, but everyone is also like a video recorder. Like, people are
Oh yeah.
video recorders, whether we like it or not. Like, they're gonna record
Oh
this
yeah.
shit, and
Oh yeah.
there's no escaping it. Yeah, and like, they're recording at all times, but they perceive the recordings a lot differently than maybe an 11 life path would. And this person, because when you have such a level of knowledge of life, like, you just see everyone as you, or like, with the same love you give to yourself, you see everyone with. But when they push that away because they're fearful of what you're saying or they're not ready to hear it, that can hurt an 11 life path. So that's why we're telling a lot of people, don't cast your pearls to those who are not ready for it. Like,
Yeah.
and they said,
Right.
speak dharma, huh?
Alicia said, "Speak Dharma." You could respond to her on that. Speak Dharma for us 11s here on Earth School, and creating the new dimension reality where we're all connecting in will manifest. You want to speak about
Well,
that?
yeah, so this is something that's, there's too many concepts and barriers and too much conditioning, like, people have a lot of hidden desires that they will consider as bad and they will never act on them. So they'll never get to extinguish it because maybe it's always there to begin with, right? Like like if they have something they really want to do, no matter if it's bad or good, perceived as bad or good, if they don't do it, then it's always going to be there. Like when I was like 12, 13, 14, like I was probably watching like porn more than anyone else because I'm like, oh fuck, I know I have a dick now. Like what the fuck? Like everyone, like it's stuff that people don't want to talk about. Like they need to do stuff to understand that they don't care to do it anymore. And then they're just because naturally you stray away from toxic things anyways. Like naturally you'll stray away from toxicity. Like it is true that people grow in negative spaces more than positive ones, like how the muddiest seed grows towards the brightest sky, or what am I trying to say? The muddiest sea, those branches of that tree will grow to the highest point of the sky towards the sun because it's in mud that people grow, and not enough people want to throw themselves into it because they hear everyone else say, "Oh, this is bad. That's bad. Don't do this. Don't do that." But it's like if you're not doing it yourself, how are you supposed to decide for yourself? Like that's why I'm for all life paths, but as an 11, I want people to be at the level of understanding that I have, but I have to be for all life paths when I say that no, there's people who just never will be. Like they don't want to be. That's like you
They'll
said, you
have
can't bring
to evolve. They'll have to go through many lifetimes. They'll have to go through many suffering, many experiences to understand. And even us, we just don't wake up and become 11s.
yeah,
Become an 11 is not you just waking up and one day you're God's like, oh, I'm gonna make you an 11. No, 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 no.
right.
You have to go perpetual trials, tests, hindrance, a lot of this stuff in order for you to become an 11 life path. And this is why I talk to all of my 11s and I tell them, I'm like, look, 11s, you have been through so much in your life for a reason. For a reason, because God only puts his toughest soldiers through the hardest battles. Always remember this. All
Yeah,
my 11 cats. I'm telling you this. I know what I'm talking about. God only puts his toughest soldiers through the hardest battles. This is why we have been in the trenches. We have been there, we have done that, and we're still going there. But the whole point of this journey, like XXX Tentacion said, right? His music, I know, some people don't agree, but some of the things he said were very wise. He said the whole point, you know who Tentacion is, right? The
yeah,
rapper.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
Yep,
said the whole point of life is to evolve, and I'm paraphrasing. He was a
yeah,
30 life path. Your whole point of being on earth is to evolve. If you are not evolving, you are dying, you are going back. This is why you will find the most nirvana in the work that you are doing. And if you neglect it, that's where you start to find hindrance in your life. Because you, even like before, you know what? I used to talk to this girl. And like when I used to talk to her, I used to make YouTube videos, and she's always been there supporting me, right? But recently, when I talked to her, I'm like, I didn't know that so many 11s actually needed me to talk to them about so many things. Because my 11s now, like the videos I put out, and I'm very grateful to God, I'm getting a lot of perpetual views. A lot of people watch my stuff. I didn't even know what an impact I was having because I didn't put it out there. Until you do not put yourself out there, you do not know the type of impact you can have.
right. And see, this is why I like having conversations with Arsalan because he has this neurobiology, guys. You don't, a lot of people don't see this crap, but I see this in him, in me, in people who can do this. We can all do this. And like, I just, I can't sit there and have a mundane conversation about like, what Aaron Rodgers was doing Friday night, kicking a football through some like like whatever. Like I can't have some mundane conversation that everyone is going to have because like he said, the only way to grow is through your own evolution. And this is why like I'm for 11 and I'm for all life path because everyone's growing at their own rate. But at the same time, I saw a really good quote, and this applies to everyone, no matter who anyone is. Uh, the true mark of a warrior is either you die, you stagnate, and you die, or you get better. Those are the only two options. And that's a very wise quote. That's like, I'm a firm believer in martial arts, not for hurting people. It's like, I love sparring, I love having fun with it. Like, but it's just the wisdom and the discipline you learn through something like that. Being humble enough to throw yourself on a mat with your ego, or being humble enough to throw yourself out into the nittiest grittiest life experiences with your ego. That's what separates a high level consciousness from a lower level consciousness in a lot of ways. Is like, if you don't have the balls to throw yourself into someone else's den where you may or may not be welcome, and learn a lesson from it. Because I get taught life lessons from Life Path 6 and 8,
And
and
two ones and fours.
yeah,
Lisa G said, I have dreams of him, the rapper. Can you tell me about the dreams you have? I would love to know. I've had a dream about XXX Tentacion too. I don't want to really talk about that right now, but I'd love to know your dream about him. I have dreams about a lot of stuff, man. Last night I had a dream about the moon.
yeah,
I had a dream about the moon, and the moon looked so beautiful in my dream. And you know what the funny part is?
yeah.
We have a full moon tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're having a full moon.
Yes, man. I saw that. Doing a little bit of astral traveling, are you?
Martial
Nice.
art as well. Stuff. Yeah.
It's
Good.
it's so good for you. Like, it makes you flexible in every way. Like, be like water, adapt. It makes you aligned with your true nature, because you are being more flexible and receptive to change. But the thing is that even if someone teaches you a lesson, it's like, what if you can teach someone a lesson too that they may not be receptive of? Like, if this is a situation that a lot of people come to butt heads with, is that someone will learn a lesson from someone else when they're receptive, but if there's a genuine lesson that you can teach them and they're not receptive, that's when a strike of egos comes in, a play of the egos, like, where someone is content at their level and they don't want to progress. And and when you are trying to impart some knowledge on them that may help them, but they've given you knowledge and you've actually taken it, and you could be different life paths, but if other life paths don't help each other grow, then you are denying your path in many ways too, because we're also here to give and help. But like, if we can't give and help back, then that person may not be for us.
But another thing is, as an 11 life path, if you are a master number 11, 22, or 33, think about it like this. If you are not going out there and you are not actually helping people out, first of all, you have to help yourself out before you help anyone else out. Because when you sit in an airplane, the one of the first thing that the air hostess tells you is, in case of an emergency, put your own mask on before you help out anyone else. So first
Yes.
thing you got to do is help yourself out, then go out and become a light in the universe. Then go out. If you're the type of person, if you have ambitions to be on YouTube, to go out, to be a star, to be in Hollywood, whatever you want to do, you have a chance right now. You've got a chance. Put on, and you're an 11 life path.
Right.
What else? Like, you are charisma. You embody. I speak to 11 life paths, and like the way 11 speak, like you could just listen to them for hours, for literally
Yeah.
just hours.
Yeah, it's always to my disappointment, I will say, as an 11 life path, when I'm truly interested in something someone else is talking about, but then what they but it's not something that I am interested in out of ego. It's like I'm interested in
Yeah.
it because I want to see the point of view and see if it's something that maybe I could get myself into and
Yeah.
share with someone else. But a lot of people when they're talking to others, they're like, "Oh, I'm not interested in that," in their head because they're already settled where they're at. So like, but like that's the thing. It's like if I know that if we are interested in what they're interested in, it makes us more interesting. But it's like when those people don't reciprocate that back, that's when you know like there's some clash of um frequencies.
Yeah.
Like
When
yeah,
another thing, 11 life paths. No matter how old you are, if you're 9 years old or if you're 110 years old, I don't care how old you are, you can still make an impact. Even if you are 90 years old and you're getting older, you can still make an impact for your family. You can still make an impact in society. For example, like I'm just going to give you another example. Look at Nelson Mandela. He made
yeah,
Look at Mahatma Gandhi. He made example. Look at Martin Luther King. He made an example. People like Churchill, people that made examples. They didn't start when they, even if you are older, it does not matter. It's all in your psyche. It's
right,
all psyche.
right. And it's like pain, like I people roast on pain. They're like they do it unconsciously. They're like, "Oh, I'm not going to do the hard stuff because I'm so used to the comfort and the stability that's already confirmed. I'm used to this confirmed comfort.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go chasing that pain that's going to get me the harder things in life. Like that's going to help your family and your friends and others. Like you and her just said, throw on your oxygen mask so we can help ourselves before we help others. And like like that I knew it was going to get to this point in the video like when we were doing it like the pranayama stuff, like the
Yeah.
semen
Oh,
retention,
preach.
right? And it's like it's all so good. Yeah. And like she's saying put on your O2 mask. What I would say real tips for anyone, not just an 11 life path, everyone. If you are going to do anything, make sure your diet is the cleanest you can get it. Your diet is the number 2 way you receive prana from nature outside of yourself is through what you eat. So the first way is the breath. You need the breath. You need to do this to enhance any kind of level of activity you want to perform or produce. So
I had a
it's
dream about that. Why do you
yeah.
think? Why do you think I started actually talking to you? Do you know the reason? One, you're an intelligent man. Second, you're an 11 life path. Third, I actually had a dream about pranayama. I had a dream. In my dream, guys, take in my dream. I had a dream where in my dream I heard, I think it was Bible, breath, and allegorical. I think it was these three words that I heard in my dream.
Oh, I gotta look that up now.
Allegorical means symbolic. That's what it means.
Yeah, that's a good dream. I remember you told me about that.
So when I woke up, I instantaneously knew that, and it was more or less what I'm saying. I instantaneously knew that I need to breathe. And the Bible, look, the Bible is a very ancient, beautiful book, just like the Quran, just like the Torah. But the thing is that a lot of these scriptures are very symbolic for people that look from their eye,
Right,
the eye right here. If you're, it's not from these eyes. These eyes can fool you. These eyes can fool you, but from the eye, from the pineal.
right,
In the Quran, because I've read the Quran, in the Quran it talks about ilmul yakin, ainul yakin, hakul yakin. So ain actually means singular eye. And the translators, you won't even know what a big conspiracy. This is not even a conspiracy. These people that have translated a lot of the books, a lot of the holy books, they've actually misconstrued the translation, where it
Yep.
says in the Arabic version, it says the I, it says singular I, but when they translate it into eyes, two
Yeah.
eyes. That's not
Yeah.
what it says.
Yeah. It's a lot of I mean, that's crazy that you had that dream too. And like I'm a believer that I've seen stories, man, where and this may get a little bit like extraterrestrial and spiritual ways, but there are people out there who have been in comas and they'll wake up out of them with an entirely different voice, playing a different or
Language,
speaking a
a
different
whole
language.
language.
Yeah, and it's like if that isn't like uh if that is not proof of like um body possession by in essence, that then I don't know what is, because people astral travel and people they do these like I will tell you, I'm not an astral traveler by heart. I can do it and I like doing it, but only when I'm so deep down and bad in a spot where like it was a hard karmic decision or something I had to face. That's when I'll do some astral traveling to get answers. But only if I'm left on a footnote, about what happened, but I don't fully understand the gravity of the situation in its entirety.
Yeah,
But like but body possession, and then also people who come back into a different life and say that they're not this person, they're another person in a different past life, and it's proven that they were
right
that
there.
person somehow.
That's what I was gonna say. Another thing is unlocking your cosmic DNA memory bank.
Right.
Because you're not, see, Gavin, I'm not just a brown dude. You're not just a white dude.
We know this.
Within our DNA structure, we've have, like I've said, I was a black man in Chicago from what I remember in one of my dreams. I've been a Japanese guy. I've
Yeah.
been a white guy from upstate New York. These are things that I've remembered.
Yeah.
So
So that's even a step further than me. You've remembered. Like,
I've remembered some of these things, and I'm telling you, you're not. This is why, like, even you, there's a reason why you saw that black guy, and then you saw like some Hindu spirituality. There's a reason why humanity's waking up and we're learning. Wait, 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 wait. I'm not just limited to this physical body. I'm not
right.
just this dude that lives in Toronto. Like I'm many things in many places.
Yeah. I That's yeah, like I mean, I have this belief that I don't know from past memories because I don't have the memory, because I believe in a past life that I died in a way that was unnatural. And I think I just have this belief that I'm maybe two people, and one
Yeah,
was a yogi of sorts. I think that was like lifetimes ago. But then I
yeah.
think I was also a martial artist of sorts. Um, and this is just my belief based on my energy level and things. You know, I think I have the weirdest thing for me, man, that I will tell you about my life is that uh I have a strong alignment with this is gonna sound really silly to you, but someone like Bruce Lee. Like
Okay.
I've always had that feeling
I was
that
gonna talk about Bruce Lee. I was gonna mention Bruce Lee for some reason. Yeah,
I've
a
always
lot.
had that, man. Like that.
Oh, that a lot of 11s love Bruce Lee.
Yeah, like that, just the alignment with what he's talking about, and in the energy he's embodied. Like I know I had to be those two things in a past life. But like
Yeah,
I have the energy of memory of it. I don't have the intellectual memory of it. Maybe because
well,
I've
you
heard.
probably will. You probably will.
Yeah,
The way to do it is the Akashic records just flow to you. So if you know what the Akashic records are, right? It's a records of what's been done, what's happening, and what's gonna happen. Everything is already encrypted. This life is playing out like a movie. So think about it like this. Like think about it like the remember the DVDs we used to play? You could like do this and you'd be at a certain part or whatever. That's how
Yeah,
this a cassette. Like you would do this to the cassette and it would go all the way back. That's how life is playing. Like the whole movie, everything is done. But the thing is, we're playing it out right now. So maybe later in your life, you'll start to remember who you were. Now I'm getting like I get visions nowadays. Like I know myself in different dimensions that look like nothing like this. They look nothing like this. Like the skies are different. There's like elevators in the sky. There's like
yeah,
different type of things happening like in those other dimensions where I exist.
yeah, yeah. And it's like you can. It is entirely in the realm of possibility that you were someone of importance in a past life. Because a lot of 11 life paths, 11, 22, and 33, you have to correlate the level of life experience with the life path. Like, so it only makes sense that either A, you had many past lives, or B, you've lived a really intense life that was full of karmic suffering already. Or it could be a mix of both. Like, I you know, I didn't have a dream about the pranayama stuff like you, but I've had like hard karmic dreams where I've been shot. I had one the other night. I felt like someone put a curse on me, and I had a dream the other night that someone sent this like demonic kind of spirit to
Have
uh
you dream where someone puts food in your mouth?
no, but
If you ever
have
have
you?
a dream like that, spit the food out right away because that's like someone's most likely trying to do something to you.
Okay, yeah. But I had the dream that like there's just like crazy resentment someone has for me, and there's some kind of curse placed on me. Yeah, and but I know I'm protected, man, because by the divine will, it's when this dream happened. I dreamed that they shot me. They pulled out a gun. Like I was at some party. I didn't know I would who. Like I didn't know what was going on. It was just a little get together, and I left the building to leave, and then it was just like this person embodied. It was a demon embodied as some kind of like imposing person with a gun, and it looked like someone from my high school who like would always get in trouble and bad grades and stuff. I didn't know them personally. I actually thought they were really cool, but like
Yeah.
they just you knew they were bad. And I had a dream that it was that person embodied by a demonic spirit, and they shot me. But when they shot me, because you can't dodge a bullet, I was trying to do some like dodge moves to get out of the way of the bullet to get towards them so I could fight them. Because in close quarters, like that's my life. You're about to shoot me anyways. So it, I I could feel this happening, and then I get shot right here, like right in my solar plexus area. But then
Oh
I
god.
I I, I dipped like everyone something that was protected out of nowhere and just like choked
Symbolic.
them out.
That dream could be very symbolic.
Yeah. And
Someone.
but like when I turned the corner and
Go
I
ahead.
took the bullet out, yeah, when I turned the corner and I took the bullet out, it was like only in halfway. It wasn't in fully. It was only in halfway and I pulled it out and it was like the skin was pushed in. Like it didn't go in. The bullet didn't go in. So that's how I know I'm protected.
You know what that could mean?
Yeah,
That could probably even mean that you might have a blockage in your solar chakra area. It could even mean that. Because
it could.
another thing is like we have to understand that dreams are very symbolic. Now, for example, if you see that someone stabbed you in a dream,
Yeah.
like it could mean that it's that person that's not good for you. It could mean that, or it could even mean that you had a bad intention for that person. So,
Mm.
like dreams, because when you get into dreams, like I think Sun Tzu said it. He's like a Chinese strategist or something. If you want to know
Oh
about
yeah.
if you want to know about the world, think about it in symbols, because this whole world, everything is symbolic. So even the elites, when they do things, they have to show you symbology.
Hmm.
They have to do their hand thing, they have to do their handshakes, they have to do everything so they can tell you, be ready.
Yeah.
So the dream world, pretty much when you see things, you have to really tap into your gut and be like, if this person stabbed me or shot me right over here, why wasn't it over here? Why wasn't it over here?
Oh,
That blockage.
so yeah, so the intention in that specific dream was like they were trying to murder me. Like they weren't trying to wound me. He would aim at my head if I gave him the chance. But like I said, I
Okay.
did like a little dodge move, like barely, and then it
Yeah.
hit me in the stomach instead. So,
Okay.
and then yeah, so it was not like it was bad intention, but it I could feel it was some kind of negative essence.
Dream.
It might
Gotcha.
not
So
have been, yeah,
essence, then it is that, because
but let me,
it, yeah, go ahead.
because I wanted to tell you this because you remember when I told you the other day I ate that dark chocolate bar?
Yeah.
It ended up having like tiny pieces of the metal in it. And
Oh
that's
no way. No
that's
fuck.
dude, that's why I got sick like that. It
Oh
wasn't cuz I like I ate a lot of it, but I felt that I was chewing on that, and then I haven't eaten one since, bro. But that's what happened to me like a day or two after I got that dream, and I was sick, like I couldn't like I was working, but like I was like a zombie, dude. Like I felt it right in here too. So it's
wow.
like the dream was powerful. I don't know why I had it, but like I said, it felt like some kind of supernatural sort of interference in my life. But
No
that's how
more
real the
chocolate.
astral world.
No more chocolate for you.
At least not that brand. Yeah. At least not that
Not
brand,
that
dude.
brand. Not that brand anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something very important. So now, guys, I want you guys to pay close attention to what I'm telling you, because now that we are going into a different timeline, I have to share one of my stories, and this is a crazy story. So a couple of months ago, I went to meet some girl, and I had a mushroom trip with this one girl I was with. So when I was with her, I had a mushroom trip with her. Okay, and once I had a mushroom trip with her, I came back and we stopped talking. Right. So recently, very recently, after a couple of months, we spoke again. And I brought it up to her. I'm like, do you remember when we did the mushrooms? I'm paraphrasing. Guys, pay attention. She completely forgot that me and her did mushrooms, and it was her first time doing mushrooms. Can you guys take this in? So, if you are experiencing or someone else is experiencing memory loss,
Mm,
this is a sign right now. This is a huge sign that we are now going to a different ascension process.
yeah. It's
Because
also like
you are the memory.
yeah, and like when you lose that memory, that could also be like when you're in your carnal mind too much, because you tend to lose memory when you're constantly looking for the first quick fix of what you can get your hands on. Like, like I was saying, that constant dopamine ADHD mindset, like they can't set their sights on what needs to be done because they're too focused on the other stuff. And then they like not lose the memory, but like they lose the neurons to think about the memory in a deep emotional
But,
understanding.
but that
Yeah.
last month on the first, I'm
Yeah.
yesterday. But your first psychedelic
Yeah.
experience, the first time you did it, the first time you ever did it, how did you, and it was her first time and she never did it after that. How could you remember that one time you did psychedelic? How could you forget that?
I
Do you
don't
see what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I was fortunate enough to take it when I was like at my perfect level of mind acuity. Like I wasn't I wasn't like smoking a whole lot. Like, and I was my first trip was good and I will never forget it. But like if her first trip was bad, that means she needs to do some deep karmic work inside of herself. Uh
I
even
only I gave her less than a gram, bro. It wasn't even bad. You
what?
know what?
Well,
Yeah,
maybe she forgot it because she didn't trip. Maybe.
she yeah, but like I mean, still like I mean, she did kind of trip because she was looking at me. She's like, Arsalan, I see so much light coming from you. She
What
said
if?
something like that. Like, I see so much light coming from you. She said something like that, but
Yeah,
then she forgot. Like, how could you? Bro, you know, when you even do a gram of mushrooms for the first
yeah,
time, you're going to trip a little bit if you
yeah,
do a gram, right? Like,
yeah.
so she did trip a bit, but I was kind of shocked that she totally forgot. And then my other friend told me he's like, he used to talk to his grandmother, and his grandmother always used to say a certain thing to him. And this time, when he talked to her about that certain thing that she used to say to him, she totally forgot. But like, I could understand that's his grandmother, and maybe that's what
Well,
age.
what if?
But
What if? So let me just throw this out there. What if it's the possibility that she faked tripping and was just saying that because she liked you?
I don't know.
I'm
Probably
not.
not because
I'm not saying that's
she
what happened.
yeah. No, the thing is, she is a 11 life path girl, and I don't think she's like that. I highly doubt she would ever say anything that's not authentic.
Oh,
Uh,
because
I
you're still talking to her.
I think I talked to her about a week or two ago.
Okay, well then, yeah, she shouldn't. Maybe she's not capping about it, dude. Yeah, because that could
Yeah,
be like your light is so powerful that like it made her forget because she's not divine ready.
I have no idea, but
Could be that.
I honestly like I do think she wouldn't do that to me. And because I talked to 11 life path woman, I can tell you something about 11 life paths.
Yeah,
I think there are very less 11 life paths that would ever lie, because 11 life paths know how bad that would fuck them up.
true. But
Yeah,
what if they're like? What if she's like a low 11 life path? What if she's not advanced enough?
such thing, brother. I don't think. I mean, like, nah,
Yeah,
man. She genuinely doesn't remember that trip. Or if
that's
she
not.
does and she's telling me a whole different story, I don't know. Then I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean,
I doubt that. I think she just doesn't remember.
yeah, that because that's does she like drink or smoke a lot or something or like?
No. She smokes shisha, I guess, but she doesn't drink.
Yeah, that there's no way she forgot that. If it actually no, if it actually happened to her, dude, how could she forget? That doesn't make any sense because if it's like if she's saying all this light is coming off of you, then what? I don't
I
know.
I scaled it for her. She took the mushrooms in front of my face,
Yeah,
and he was tripping a bit, and I don't know. I seriously don't know. But another
yeah.
thing that she did take that.
Oh,
She
that
did.
could be what did it. That could be what did it. See,
Yeah, yeah,
now
yeah,
that I know that, that's yeah, we I won't get into it, but I yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Like
That thing, that guys, I'm gonna be honest. On my channel, you're not gonna. I'm not a fake guru. I'm not one of those people. If you took that shot, I'm telling you right now, you don't know what's even in your body right now. There's technology in your body that most people can't even comprehend.
yeah,
If you
if
took it, I'm not saying it's done. I'm not saying anything like that. But never. I'm being honest, bro. That's poison. It's poison. I'm
yeah.
being.
Yeah.
Some of these people are like, oh no, you have to be positive. No, no, you have to be. Bro, if I give you poison, I don't care how positive you are, you're gonna fucking burn. If I put
Yeah.
like heavy chemicals, heavy fluoride into your body, heavy metals into your body, like the shit that they put in the water, like if I put that pure chemical into you, I don't care how much you're like sitting on the sky, it's gonna affect you.
So did she what? She got the shot like before y'all tripped? Like right
Bro,
before?
shot, man. She took the shot, man. Before I even knew her, she took one shot. She took one shot. And
Mm.
honestly, that's her life. But on, I, fuck,
It
man.
still seems like she there's no, but that still sounds like a cap to me. Like there's how could you forget this
How could
emanating
you forget? How could you forget that? Yeah, it's
yeah, how
weird.
could you like that makes no sense to me. I
But that's
but
what's
what
happening now. A lot of people are forgetting things about themselves.
oh
They're-
yeah. People are like, they're
yeah,
they don't see that they're getting slower in some functional ways. Like
yeah.
it can happen, like people rag on stuff like Alzheimer's and things like that, but people don't know that they get that shit like in their 20s and 30s and 40s, like even
Oh,
younger sometimes. People can like people who are just they're susceptible to it genetically, like they don't know it maybe people even who just drink a lot, whatever, or maybe people who just fry their brains too much.
so you know what I think is happening? I think actually in the quantum realm right now, there's a great process of elimination taking place. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna be honest about these type of things in my videos, but I try to limit them because talking about these things openly, I that I'm not gonna be very, you guys know what I mean, safe. Okay, so in the quantum right now, what they're doing is that they're harvesting energy.
Mm,
That's what they're doing. So they're trying to really suck the soul out of people. This is why our main connection on earth is with the breath, pranayama. It's with the breath right here, right? Once you have activated the breath, and this is what the Gnostics talk about, this is what the Sufis talk about, the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, the Indians, the Europeans, all ancient traditions have been suppressed.
yeah.
Now, we might look at the world and we might think that, oh, these type of people, they run the world, but no, 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 no. There are actually lizards, and I've seen those lizards on my mushroom trip, which is fucked up. Like I've seen
Yeah.
some fucked up shit on my trip,
Yeah.
and these lizards are very fucking worried right now because their time is up.
Right.
So because time is up right now, they're trying to get as many souls as possible right now.
Yeah. And like the self is always in constant change, but they're trying to keep people's soul from changing. Like they're trying to keep people's soul in that state of conditioned labor, and but also with like people don't know this, but it's literally, well, I can't get into that because I don't want people, FBI or someone watching our
Yeah,
stream. I'm gonna talk to you about this behind the scenes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like you and I know, they're trying to keep people conditioned out here. Like they don't want, like I'm not talking about smoking some weed every now and again. I'm saying, like people who are on that hard stuff and even just doing too
Oh,
much alcohol or
oh,
tobacco, fluoridated water, keeping you a wage slave, all this stuff. I'm opposed to all of it. Like I I would have like people should be, I'm a firm believer that people should be, growing their own crops and figuring out science so we can do more on earth instead of trying to limit everyone else so only a select few figure it all out. Like everyone, like we're all life paths, and then there's these people who are corrupt and they withhold things because they think that they're these supreme beings, but
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has the supreme
And
inside.
some might people think that, oh, it's a white supremacy, but it's not white supremacy, because there's white people that are suffering in America too. Or it's not like a different type of supremacy. This is the supremacy of the tyrants. And these are
Yeah.
not even humans. These are not
Yeah.
even human entities, are not even humans.
Yeah.
What they are, that there are shapeshifters. And I'm not going to say all shapeshifters are bad, because believe it or not, at one point we will be shifting shapes too, because we'll be able to most likely teleport. And now I know this might sound
Yeah.
crazy, but I've read books, and I've read even in the Quran, if you look at chapter 18, which talks about the cave,
Yeah.
that whole chapter is about time traveling. It talks
Yeah.
about how you go into the cave. What is the cave? The cave is your heart.
Yep.
The cave is your heart. So once you go into the heart, which is it's not the easiest, but you can do it by going into the heart, you can actually time travel. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. And
But
I'm only on the
and,
cusp of that personally with the premonitions, seeing
yeah,
different options in my dream for future lives or whatever else, options that could potentially make or change your reality. It's like this is a real game, and the key players who hold all that power, they don't like it. Like he said, it's tyrant territory where they don't like it, where people gain this knowledge, and it's out there. But even if
yeah,
you try to share it with others, they're going to censor you always. Like,
yep.
we may even get our video taken down, the one that but like, I'm not trying to embody that energy, but th-
We probably
like,
won't. Probably won't, because you know what? Their time is over. Their
yeah,
time is taking, and the great elimination is taking place. This is why you'll see a lot of people now. Unfortunately, some of the people you see do not possess souls. Now, remember this: the soul is in the body. A part of the body is in the soul. A part of the
yeah,
soul is the body, but the body is really in the soul. The body is really in the soul. So you
yes,
now are projecting onto yourself from a different place.
yeah,
So you're not like in you're not just in your body, even though you are in your body, but a
yes,
part of you is in your body. A
yeah,
part of is in Gavin right now, and a part of him is in me right now, because we're connected.
right. It's that there's a word for it, Runana Banda, which is
Okay.
in yoga, it's the energy connection between two
Yeah.
forms of life, and that's 100% accurate. We are not just this body, we are emanating away from it and coming back to it. We're astral traveling. I've had dreams where I've had three other people in the past couple months, their energy come into my dreams. And I'm not going to talk about these in depth because they're highly personal,
Yep.
but I felt their real energy there, whether it was consented to or not. Some people are just going to show up in your dreams because there's some connection. You have that energy connection. And then other people are not going to show up because there is no connection, but there's no consenting in astral traveling. When you leave your vessel, you are exposing yourself to the astral world. Just like in how in reality you have the choice to not be around others, but only because you're in a solid physical realm. But in the astral world, people go back in near death experiences and awakenings, and they go back and they see that, oh, this is all just a classroom. Everyone's learning from each other. And the real ego is the projection that you have some kind of control over it all.
Have you
It's
watched
like,
the movie Back to the Future?
yeah,
You watched it?
yeah, it's trippy.
So we're all traveling back to the future. I know this is trippy, but everything has already happened.
Mm-hmm.
everything that you see right now, everything that you think, this is why I tell people, I'm like, don't worry about it. You'll be fine because everything has already happened. Your destiny. So even with destiny, right? With destiny, there is a choice and there is something that is lohe mahfuz, which basically means that it's already happened. What has already happened is your date of birth, the day you were born, and the day you were gonna pass away from Earth. Those
Yeah.
two, those 2 points have already been ingrained.
Hmm.
Okay, now what's happening is that between those 2 points, you have the decisions that you have the free will that you can make. But
Yeah.
even that free will that you can make has already been encrypted.
Yes. Exactly. And you like people who practice all this high level consciousness business, like they have that akashic record unlocked where they can see the different things happening. It's not mental to look. People can get this stuff confused with mental issues because I'm a firm believer you shouldn't ruminate on the past and imagine the future. I'm a firm believer in order to keep yourself aligned, centered, balanced. But what people don't realize is that when you're clairvoyant on such a level, you actually see different options for outcomes that are occurring in front of you.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, like, and it could be in a dream, it could be in a vision from a psychedelic, it could be from meditation, but that's what you can only see when you're attached to this astral record of it's not the one there is no suffering in. There's no suffering in the one all source everything everyone. There's no suffering
Yep.
in that.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. A lot of people think hell. This earth is at when you are actually bounded to the fleshly suit, you are actually in hell because what's happening is you are fighting the flesh.
Mhm.
You are fighting your flesh to actually elevate through your chakra points. You're trying to elevate from these points that you have because your
Right.
consciousness, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun, which basically means we all come from God and we're all returning to Him. So we're all returning back to the source.
Yes.
What I mean, like we're all like even on Earth right now, millions on the other side. So it's not like it's stagnate. It's a stagnated earth. No, there's action because you're leaving earth and you're going to the other realm, and then the people on the other realm that have made it to the higher dimensions, they're rooting on you right now. They're actually
Yeah.
rooting on us to like, yo, I hope you actually make it.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also deals that people make with entities that like these are spiritual elemental forces. People make deals with
This
them. They
is such a
know,
deep topic, dude. Fuck.
yeah,
This is so deep. Yeah.
it's good though. Like yeah,
People
like
have made deals with entities, and this is why like even myself, like I'm gonna be very honest, guys, I don't call out to anything other than the source creator and the unknown. I
yeah,
personally don't. Personally, I don't do. I'm not against you doing anything if you know what you're doing, if you're
yeah,
calling your guides or whoever you're calling. But I'm gonna be very honest. When you start to call out things in the unseen, you really don't know what you're doing. And you don't know who's behind the scene and what they're trying to do to you. Like, I don't know if you've watched the movie The Conjuring. I think it's one of these horror movies, right? So
yeah,
this lady, her husband passes away like a couple of years back. Pay attention because this is spooky. Her husband passes away a couple of years back. So she's in a room, and guess what happens? Her husband shows up in the room. Her husband shows up, and she's like, "Where were you?" And she thinks that that's her husband, and he's hugging her, and he's loving her, and he's showing her care. But guess what he does in the end? Guess what
yep.
he does? You know what he tells her in the end? he gives her a knife.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that movie? That movie's
I didn't.
creepy.
I didn't see the whole movie, just that part.
That you saw that part? See
I
how
saw that part.
so she gives her a knife, and he's like, okay, if you, and I'm paraphrasing, he's like, if you love me, here's a knife. Just come to me. Cut yourself. Come to me.
Yeah, and
And
it's not really him,
it's not really him.
right? That that's the see that I've watched a lot of paranormal shows and I've had a lot of paranormal things
What
happen to me
movie
in my
was
life.
that? By the way?
Huh?
What movie was that? Do you remember the name?
I'm pretty sure it was it was the movie where he's trying to capture the ghost in their house and he's a ghost hunter.
Something
It's
like
it's a
that.
Netflix movie. It's not.
I, oh,
I
really?
know what you're talking about.
Actual movie, but it might be on. They might have the same story on a different movie too. But
No, it was either The Conjuring, like you said, or it was this Netflix movie I saw. But it's the same scene how you're describing it. Literally
yeah.
the same thing. I know what you're talking about. She like tells them to kill themselves, and then they give him the knife. Come be with me, and then he wakes up halfway out of it.
No,
And
you
she's
know
like,
what?
"What are
No,
you doing to yourself?"
she ends up stabbing him because she was probably an 11 life path and she knew.
Yeah. Oh, like further in the movie.
Yeah, she ended up stabbing him because she knew that it was an entity that was projecting, and this is why I say I'm like be very anything, be careful because you do not know who you're calling out to. You see,
Yeah. Yeah, even like, like we were saying, people with past lives, Jesus or the Buddha could come back in form, and no one knows who they are on this earth, but they could get tempted still by demonic forces or elementals or ethereal, astral traveling suffering souls, whatever, and they can get manipulated too. It's not like this is the tendency of nature for the lower level consciousness to rise and the higher level consciousness to be thrown to the curb, because even if you're such a high level presence, entity, essence, whatever you are, we come here receiving our human body, but we're in essence we're a culmination of five elements. So we are the spiritual essence in reality. It's energy, it's woven in the energy, it's the same thing. And even if you're a high level, you still have the battles. Like there's
oh
always
yeah,
someone bigger and badder than you. Like,
you have
like
more. I would say you
spiritually
have
or
more. I would say
huh?
you get more.
Say it again.
I would say you get more battles the higher your frequency is.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because we're constantly jumping out of our comfort zone. We know now that this is a classroom, and like we know how our actions have affected others in the past so much because we're empathetic to and sympathetic to everything that's going on, that we don't want to make the same mistakes. Like that's one thing. When I had a spiritual awakening, I never made the same mistake. And it's funny, the mistake popped up that I could have made in my premonition in the dream, where I could have made this mistake, but it wasn't me making the mistake. It was another person who could have potentially have come on to me and
Oh
made me make the mistake and betray someone.
wow,
So yeah, so I was like, that just scared me to my core when I had that dream, because I don't want that to happen. That
yeah.
I made the other mistake and offloaded a bunch of my wisdom, and then just, like moved away because I had to move anyways. But I made the opposite mistake, trying to be too much of a saint, and instead of following the darker path, I followed the other extreme end. So we can also fall into that, like not being balanced enough with decisions. Like that's my whole learning
So that
recently.
balance has to be established in order for us to ascend. The process is to actually balance the energy within you, the yin and the yang, to get a balance to ascend from this, I would say, a state of hell. Because even if you get all the money in the world, all the fame in the world, please do not be deluded that you are still living in a state which is not your primordial state. Your primordial state is a state of ultimate freedom.
Yes. Yeah, we're all collective individuals, but people say we and our and group and this and that. But it's like if there can't be any true individuality within a group of people, then is it a real group? Because you know, a group can people say cult all the time, but it's like any group is can any group can be considered a cult. Even like a really tight, like close thing of people who play football all the time, or even just close friends. There could be one diplomacy that everyone is abiding to, where no one is introspecting about anything that's going on, and
Okay.
that's just like one of those things where you have to accept it and not and just leave everything untouched, because I've had that problem where personally I shouldn't, I should leave things as they are and just worry about myself. And that's the whole like
Yeah.
thing, is that like people are so worried about everything and everyone else, it creates this fear, and this fear destroys things. And it's
I,
unconscious, be unconscious, yeah.
I
Until you
love
learn it, like you learn it fully, like then it's
that.
not unconscious.
I would say for me, the psychedelic really helped me break out of fear. I was the type of dude that, oh my God, I don't even want to get into the stories, but like psychedelics, like the way it's happened, and I'm not saying it was the psychedelics, but I'm saying it was the source creator that brought these into my life and
Mhm.
I did it. It's not like we depend on the water to quench our thirst, but it's the source behind the water that actually quenches our thirst because we're all going back to that one source. I know this
Right.
might be a little complicated for some folks to understand, but it is what it is. By the way, if you guys are here right now, please, if you can, like, for a second, go on Google and check like how to save a life because we're gonna maybe end this very soon, just because when I finish this live, I want to make sure I save it so I can post it on my channel. So I would really appreciate it. And hello to my 11 that said 11 with the 11s. That's very funny. If someone can please, if you could check how do you end a live and how you could save it, and then comment, so I'm sure I can say because this is my first live with Gavin. So yeah,
Hell yeah. I
it's always
I
nice
will
talking to you, dude. It's always nice talking to you.
100%, man. Like we've gone over a lot of deep things. I'm trying to think if like maybe we missed out on anything. Um
You know what, dude? Like maybe again sometime if we have, you can take notes or whatever, and
yeah,
and maybe do it again maybe later sometime, But honestly, I think this live was packed with information. It
good
was.
luck.
If you're late, I'm gonna try this live and post it out later so you guys can watch this whole live through and you can get like you can pick our brains. We're both 11 life paths. We're both on the same path, right?
Yep.
For the most part, because we're both 11s. And for my 11 family, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you. I'm in so much gratitude, like for the people that have stayed here and they're like watching us. I really appreciate you guys, and I really, really hope the best for every single one of you.
Yep. I wonder if they like the collab, and then if they want us to talk more, then I guess we'll see what the comments say.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
video.
sure, for sure. I'm pretty sure they loved this collab with us.
Hell yeah, dude. I like it's always
This
good
is why
talks.
11 get together. When two 11s get together, they create a spark.
Right.
They go
Yeah.
back and forth. Their minds just like it sparks something.
Yes.
Um,
Like it
yeah,
there's no words to describe it, but that's 100%. Yeah. And like yeah, I'm leaving off on this video with a good frame of mind, very good talk. Hell
yeah.
yes.
All right,
And
I'm gonna now. So it was nice speaking to you. It was nice having all of you guys here. Have yourself a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are. Take care. Bye now.